This is my chicken husband, Martin, and we're going to get straight into this because we've made a 30-minute presentation for a 20-minute slot. So, yeah, before we get in, we just want to do a bit of a recap of the work. So we'll play the video.
Inflation.
The UK.
Rise in energy bills.
They're going to have to learn AI skill.
2024. For months, the country had seen the next generation abandoning KFC. This wasn't a sales blip. This was a battle for survival. Zero trust. Zero originality. Zero truth.
Everything is shit.
In a world gone mad, the people wanted something real, something tangible, something crispy. And we had that by the bucket. Believe. We created our own universe. With its own identity. With its own icons.
KFC's new ad. It's just an incredible piece of art.
Dude came out a whole fried chicken leg. Because of that commercial, I think I'm gonna go give me a bucket of fried chicken.
We were building a movement of chicken followers.
I believe in
Chicken, yes, yes.
Yes, we believe in chicken.
The Arndale Centre, Piccadilly, Downing Street. Nothing could stop us. We're leading our followers to the chicken wherever they are. Even the 170-foot chicken at Gatwick welcoming believers to the UK. All is done in the name of the clock. KFC have reclaimed their throne, and nothing can topple us.
Okay, I'm going to start from a couple of years ago in the beginning and give you some context as to what led to this work. And then Martin's going to go a bit deeper into some of the work as well. So over the last 6 years, KFC has always had a challenger mindset, breaking conventions, pushing the category codes. We're not market leaders, so the work we do has to stand out and cut through. And we've been really successful over the last 6 years, you know, doing a lot of effective work. Probably 2 years ago, we had what we call the awakening, where we had a hard look in the mirror and we saw a few things. The first was the competition was stepping up. The big guys, the small guys, everyone was suddenly talking about chicken. The second thing, everyone started to look the same. People and rivals were copying our style and tone. And it was like burger ad after burger ad. And then the third thing was really the younger audience started to tune out. And we were losing that audience from our work. So essentially, our campaigns were just not punching like they once did. So yeah, that was the reawakening. So we set ourselves with a pretty punchy ambition. We had 25 million people who weren't shopping at KFC, but were shopping at our competitors. So we've massively reframed that to say they're not non-customers, they're non-believers, and we need to get those people to start believing in what we do to drive growth. So that was our reframe. And really, stop looking at our competitors, stop looking at other chicken players. We need a new vision, and that is to be the most iconic brand in the UK. Like, just get out of this chicken war territory and elevate above the category. So that was what we did. Pass to Martin to be like, how did that come to life?
Not an easy task, for sure. And I guess when you're looking at a brand like this, I mean, I've been at Mother my whole life and I've seen great work done for KFC even before in the last 2 years sort of taking over it. And interestingly, you wonder where this sort of cult idea came from. It actually came from meeting these guys for the first time ever, going to Woking, which is their head office, probably not the most creative place in the world, going into their office, nobody around and waiting to be introduced to everyone. It's a kind of like, no, there's literally no one around, but I hear chanting, like insane chanting coming from the middle office room of the building. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Literally, these people come out sweating. They're almost so excited. It's just one of their end of weekly meetings. They literally, KFC are a cult themselves, and it kind of clicked. So there was a first bit of inspiration, which was like, just be who KFC are on the inside for the outside, for the fans. And just to start off, I'll go through why we got here, but this came across, this was the first thing that a creative team brought to us on the table that just inspired everything. I know it seems crazy, but it was just a piece of chicken haloed with the word believe on it, and another one which was over McDonald's saying don't listen to false prophets, which really just started this whole thing. And actually, two simple things made this platform true, which was the cultural truth, which ultimately meant that nothing, in the post-truth era, we couldn't believe anything that was going on in the world. I mean, it was, let's be honest, it still is fucking crazy. So ultimately, you couldn't believe in anything, but you could believe in chicken. And we really believe this as a USP for the chicken brand, because ultimately, people forget, but actually against the category in the QSR and every other brand that comes in, they are fresh, not frozen, always chicken, clearly, always original recipe, and they're hand-breaded every day. None of the other competitors do that on a daily basis. That is actually a big reason to believe, and it's why our whole message was, facetiously in a fun way when it came to cultural, like you can't believe in anything, your politicians, etc., but you can believe in chicken. Gave us a really nice platform for where to start. Ultimately, as a creative platform, you could have taken this loads of ways, and we definitely did. We stretched it, pulled it apart. How do you do a new cult, like that just doesn't feel cliche and we've all seen before? And I'll tell you some of the ideas that kind of went a bit wrong, but were kind of funny. This came across the desk at one point that was just the Houses of Parliament being literally destroyed by a huge piece of chicken. This obviously not quite right. Kate didn't sign this off. But like,
Too far.
like this really talks about how we looked at, okay, is it about a cult that ends the debate and all you need to believe in is chicken? Do we go there? What areas can we do to bring this to life? And ultimately, I'm not going to show you this ad again, but the first one that came out did divide opinion. We really landed on, actually, let's just show Britain turning away from the things they can't believe in, AI, politics, crisp packets that are half full, and actually then show you can believe in the chicken, and it's just follow as the chicken. Really simple message, but it also garnered rave reviews from some of the biggest tabloids in the UK. Half the UK wants to rip their eyeballs out. So it really like divided opinion in a great way. People loved and hated the same things. But ultimately, after the first one, I'm going to talk a lot more about the second part today, which hopefully we'll get into the third part, but gravy as where we moved on to, because it's kind of hard to follow up, okay, clear message of cult following the chicken, but what else can we do in the second part to show the iteration of our cult or fandom coming together? And there was one other cult product, KFC, that none of our other competitors have. I think you all know that to be gravy. So as well as the chicken, the gravy was the thing we really wanted to talk about moving forward. Given time, if everybody's all right with it, I'm not going to play this ad again. Hopefully you've seen it. If you haven't, probably after, you'll be able to look at it. But I want to kind of maybe just talk about how this ad came about. And what is hard when building like a cult, and we really do, you might disagree and go, everything you're doing is cliche for a cult, but we really tried to make everything we do in this creative campaign unique. It's things you haven't seen before. This was a reference that came across for Gravy, the second part of the campaign, which was, if you're worshipping Gravy, how do we show this cult turning up? And Vedran, the director, came up with this. You had seen in the first ad a sort of, we gave away jewellery to talk about the cult, and it was a little golden egg they wore as necklaces, and now we said, okay, the cult worships a totem of a huge golden egg. And this became the whole driving beat of the ad. It was the egg being dropped that made the music of the ad. So this sort of started to inspire what this whole ad, ultimately, in a real simple way, was about the moment the chicken hits the gravy, and this was about taking a new follower and dipping him in gravy. It was the sort of metaphorical brainchild that went on in your head when you're enjoying that piece of chicken. Equally, the music, so every piece of it we tried to make as unique as possible. No piece of music we made for this campaign is borrowed. Every piece is original. Vedran and our team, we've literally been making every piece of music to be original. And you think with cults, you might land yourself in gospel or traditional things. We actually went for Brazilian funk. So I'm just going to show you a quick video of how the original demo to the final track ended up. Another piece of that that was really important to the construction of this ad was the movement. So you probably saw in the first ad, the way the colt moves. This is Vedran, our director, originally telling us, he's a dancer himself, and was like, this is how I think people should move. This is the movement of the chicken. Everyone takes on and embodies the belief of chicken, the chicken obsession. So we sort of referenced a lot of ways that chickens can move in a human form. And this really started to inspire our choreographer, and I'll show you a little clip from what we first got sent for the movement of chicken, which was really cool, and now inspired every iteration of our colt and the way they move. And equally, in the first part, we also, in this part, it was a huge congregation of these followers now, with their big drum-beating egg. You're all looking at me now going, you're a psycho, and I don't know what you're on about. But actually, that was the drum beat for them getting down to the lake, and they all had to move as a unit, like a chicken coop, as it were. So this ad took on the movement piece in a big way as a group. This took a lot of training to get these guys to move the egg, this huge egg, which I'll talk about in a bit, how we did this, but to really show them moving as a unit, on time, as a rhythm, as a group, carrying this egg. We actually made the egg. It ended up being 300 kilograms, and nobody could lift it. So that's why it ended up being inflatable. And a lot of amazing posts from Black Kite, which I'll show you. But yeah, 300 kilograms, nobody could fucking lift the thing. It was an absolute nightmare. And also, along with that movement, look, we got a lot of feedback. Obviously, references are really hard when you're talking about dunking somebody in a lake of gravy. Baptism comes up a lot. We very specifically were moving away from baptism. This was about how do you make it not baptism, but a dunk, like literally illustrating the dunks. We had a lot of fun with Vedran, who is very much about this, in the weird way that you could dunk a person and be carried. So he literally made a full bodyboard for the back of this guy in the weird way that he could be carried, and then just tilted and dunked into the gravy. That was a unique movement. We were trying to make something different. Equally, in the first ad, there was a lot of cult symbols. So the golden egg, the necklace, a lot of the 11s for 11 herbs spice through the ad. Similarly, we had that through this. There is a lot of detail that goes into the world building of this cult. All the clouds in the ad were chicken drumsticks. Every single cloud was in the shape of chicken drumsticks. We had ladlers at the front of the lake taking the gravy in. Every tree in this world had 11 carved into it for the 11 herbs and spices. So the detail for the world of the cult was rich. It was important. And again, as I said about the egg, we tried to build this for real. It was way too heavy. This was inspired from the first, and the inscription across the whole egg was the 11 herbs and spices recipe. Obviously, nobody's ever allowed to know. But that was their sort of totem, the thing they worship. So there is a lot of meaning in the brand within the craft of the ad. Equally, I'm kind of wearing it now, bespokely made gravy outfits from scratch for the whole cult. This wasn't about going out and taking off shelf or copying. We were literally trying to make clothing for each of the cult. This brown, which we were calling brown being the new black, and the gravy drip. Later this year, we have a partnership where we're releasing these clothes, but they're supposed to imitate the flow of the gravy and the brown of the gravy. Again, a sort of 20 metre by 20 metre dug hole and vat of this actual gravy we had to prepare. Kind of funny story. This had to be edible. This guy could not be, for health and safety reasons, dunked into this gravy without it being edible. So it was a horrible mix of cornstarch and flour. It was not edible, but had to look like the gravy the best it could. And interestingly, only one shot worked on the dunk. Literally, the last shot we did was the only one that worked. And there was a bit of a moment on set where it was literally he went under, and you'd usually go, get this guy up before he drowns. Everyone was just like, keep him down, because we need the shot. So literally, this is the only shot that worked. Yes! That's me screaming desperately, because if we didn't get the shot, we're screwed and the whole ad is done. But yeah, the poor sod. Like all of us are just like, keep him down, and all the rest of the crew are like, no, he's gonna die. We need to get him up. He was a really brave soul. One thing I want to talk about this special relationship I have with KFC, which is kind of an incredible part. She's not wrong when she says she's my chicken wife. The truth is, all of this happens for the people that, like, it's caused controversy, sure, but there is a lot of trust in this relationship. I'm going to say something which is, wouldn't be expected from me, but there was a thing that we were supposed to shoot to maybe make a bit more sense of that end shot when it was dunked in the gravy, which was to pull out from the whole island and see it in a bucket of gravy. So you really understood the whole ad was just a bucket of gravy. And yeah.
Yeah, we would like, I don't know, we just like lent into the weirdness of it, of it's an ad that doesn't need to make sense, like let's not try and make sense of it. So we killed this off and we were like, we just don't need that much of a functional product in this quite surreal ad. So you were like, but you usually want the product in. I was like, no, this one I think, like, let's stick with the pure intention of what we were trying to do.
I've never had it in my life. For me to push the product into an ad and for my client to go, no, we don't want it, is absolutely incredible, because this is world building. Like, I haven't seen it in a lot of years where you take time. This part 2 or part 1 is not the end. We're planning lots more parts. I think everybody wants answers immediately. I always describe it like watching Severance for whoever's watching it. It's like, I don't get to the end of Severance and go, I need all the answers. The reason I come back for season 3 is because I don't have all the answers. And that's the way I think about this as a journey of storytelling for the cult of KFC. Yeah. You don't need all the answers. Part 3 will come, hopefully.
Yeah.
And
I've had quite a lot of scrutiny of like, why is there no product in these ads? And without going into confidential information, like my taste scores over the last 6 months to 12 months are the highest they've ever been. So sometimes you don't need that delicious burger 10 seconds at the end. Like, this is working really well for delicious, tasty food as well.
What's kind of crazy for KFC is the learning we had, why we went back to doing pure brand and entertainment, was that any time KFC is mentioned, taste scores go through the roof, which means that long term, the brand has been around for a long, long time, and taste has always been associated with it. Great tasting chicken. So it kind of is a great blessing that we can do storytelling over just showing amazing, craveable chicken. I'm just going to quickly show you, I know we've run out of time, but I want to show you the amazing visual work that Black Kite did. It's a quick minute video, just how this ultimately came to life. I'm really sorry I didn't show you the ad. There's probably a couple of people going, why are you talking to me about all the details and you haven't even shown me the fucking ad? Hopefully you have, but anyway, this was some of the detail. Kind of crazy to get an inflatable egg to feel like the weight of a huge golden egg. It's quite an incredible job they've done for the drop. Cool. Ultimately, look, I'm not going to shy away from it. These ads cause a fair bit of controversy. I'm very lucky with the clients we have. Yes, some of that is purposeful, but honestly, some of the mad world, the insight, some of the stuff is absolutely crazy. The fact that like, the biggest thing that came out is now KFC are cannibals and this is human meat. It's just been, like, we have literally brought out the conspiracy theorists, which is kind of amazing because it was the initial strategy. If there's one thing you can believe in chicken, don't believe the rest of the bullshit. This is literally the people it's bringing out. Like, what I loved about it, though, and it doesn't happen often, is the things people loved and hated were the same things, which says a lot. It's like, conspiracy, ultimately, you had, like, people being like, Kentucky Fried Children. The other people were like, get a grip, the earth is round, and we bath every day and keep clean. It's like, that is kind of, for me, what you want. You want this level of conversation. But I'll leave you with one video, a bit of compilation, because I've never seen so many TikToks make about cannibalism I've ever seen in my life come off the back of this ad. But ultimately, cults aren't for everyone, but that's okay.
So a lot of people are freaking out over KFC's new commercial.
You've seen the new KFC advert. Watch this. This is a KFC commercial.
Turns out Kentucky Fried Chicken is actually Kentucky Fried Cannibal.
We're now having fried humans at KFC.
So they're using humans instead.
What the fuck is it about?
Conspiracy theorists out there who say that they are trafficked into meat.
Is it a conspiracy theory, or is it just their way of marketing?
No, I do not believe we're eating human meat.
They have everybody and their mama talking about KFC right now.
What was that? I don't know. Like, are they saying that our meat is human?
Like, just straight after watching this advert, he started floating up off the floor, and like he never does that.
So now we've got people complaining about the KFC advert. What are they trying to say? What are they trying to say? I don't give a fuck what they're trying to say. The chicken's delicious, and I'm from the north. Where can I find me a bird with pigtails who's gonna baptise me in gravy? That's all I want to know. Everyone's complaining about what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that chicken sells itself. It's delicious. 11 herbs and spices. Where's the leek of gravy?
Thank you.